Hey guys, we're gonna look at Kayangel Gate 3 today and do a little bit of a commentary of my run, my first clear run through all of these gates. Hopefully we're gonna talk about some of the things that I picked up and I learned as I was doing this gate, look at some of the things that I was doing poorly and see what we can do differently. This is not going to be a full-on guide about all the mechanics of the fight and stuff like that. If you guys are looking for that, go to Maxroll, go to ATK's videos, go to Mobalytics. There's a lot of different places to find out more about what this stuff has to offer. But we're just going to be focused on looking at the execution of the fight and some of the things that I picked up as I was doing it. Okay, so with that, let's jump right in. Okay, Gate 3, you really want to familiarize yourself with the way that the colors happen, okay? This normal move that's happening on screen is mostly just about like you either stay in or you stay out. The gravity thing that happens is the tells are really long, and so you get a lot of uptime. You just need to make sure that you don't walk into the dangerous spots. This is an in, right? Gotta get our crit damage here. This X does a lot of damage. This move right here, this does a lot of damage. There has been a time where I've been one shot by this. Just note that like this is a moveset that you should respect, okay? If you're on a squishy class. Don't just face tank it. Nice. We didn't put our magic addiction up because we are god gamers. But there are times that, okay, I guess one other thing that I should mention about this boss is that she teleports a lot. She teleports a lot. So there's another fundamental, like, basic thing about playing Lost Ark is that you kind of want to like see what the boss is doing and then react to what the boss is doing and make a decision, right? This is really important for this boss because if you're just kind of blindly throwing moves out, oftentimes they're going to miss because she's teleporting. So I generally think for this boss, it's generally a good strategy to if she's ending an attack cycle and you know that she's about to start a new one, just wait for her to teleport and then use your stuff. That's another thing that I just remembered watching this VOD. She teleports a lot. So like here, we know that she's doing these forks, but here, this is when I'd hold off on any abilities. If you haven't started, so I think I'm using a 4 of a kind here, boom. I would not use another ability here if it's something that is like, if it's a surge, if it's like a doomsday, if it's something that's really high value, long cooldown, I would not use that here because she's gonna teleport like that, right? So obviously in this case she teleported on the exact same spot, but like just know that she moves and teleports a lot. So there's another teleport, right? So you see how I didn't use my rain immediately? It's because she can teleport here. Colors. Let's talk about the colors a little bit. Blue is good against red is good against green, and green is good against blue. One of the things that I found very helpful in this fight is just to always think about, okay, the only time you really need to care about this is when you're actively trying to kill the color that you need to kill, right? You need to kill the correct color. So the only thing you need to think about is which color is strong against the color that's showing. For all the mechanics that are relevant, that's all you need to worry about, okay? We're going to see rotating elements in a bit, but for rotating elements, there's not really anything you need to think about other than I'm standing in a spot and I'm going counterclockwise, 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 okay? So you don't need to think about colors at all for that. You just need to think about I'm standing in a spot and I'm going counterclockwise. But then for the next few mechanics, that's when you need to actually like think about what colors are appropriate. And then the only thing you need to think about is the color you see, kill the color that's strong against the one that you see is the way that you have to think about it. You don't need to think about the colors in any other way. Just kill the one that's strong against the color that you see. If I see red, I'm killing blue. If I see blue, I'm killing green. Okay, this mechanic can actually trip you up if you're not used to it. But basically just hover the spacebar close to the end and then just really make sure that you're actually looking for the black explosion. Because if you're not fast enough, it will get you. Nice. We got enough resets to put ourselves into boundless. It's a very ideal situation for us. Resets are the Arcana's best friend. Big judgment run. And this is a rotating colors. One of the things that I will say, when she teleports to the middle and does this barrier, this is when you want to use your Panaceas and Sacred Charms. Do not, I want you guys to pay attention, do not use your cleanse after the mechanic starts. Okay? Now, if I were to be a little bit more nuanced about it, there is a time where you could do it, right? Because what happens is you pick up a debuff, then you clear the debuff. You pick up a debuff, then you clear the debuff, okay? Now, what happens if you use it at the wrong time is you will not have the debuff to protect you and you will die from the big move, okay? You do not want that to happen. It's definitely happened to us in progression, and I can guarantee that if you're Bard, or I guess you're Paladin or Artist, this is where it's probably going to happen the most. Or if somebody uses a Sacred Charm at a wrong time, you're going to lose somebody in this phase, okay? Not good. Make sure you get your cleanse out of the way before the mechanic starts. What I do, I didn't have a debuff at all. What I do is the instant this mechanic starts and she has her barrier coming and you see the tell for it, I just immediately use a Panacea. Even if I don't have a debuff or I don't think I have a debuff, I just use a Panacea. There's no reason not to, just do it. Just use a Panacea when the phase starts. So you notice, we're going to pick up a debuff, and then we're going to clear the debuff. Okay? Just alternates in this way. Clear the debuff. And then now, we see the color, look at the boss, and she also faces that direction, right? The other thing you can do is the direction that she faces, you go clockwise and you kill that thing, right? She's facing blue. She's going to show a blue glow. You see that under her feet, the blue glow? What's strong against blue? Green is strong against blue, so we go and kill the green. So she points to the top left. What's strong against blue? If we go clockwise, it's green. Green is strong against blue. We kill the green orb, okay? Now, the other thing to make sure to remember is you need to be hugging the orb. So I use Scratch Stealer because I don't know why. It's very dangerous to use Scratch Stealer. You probably shouldn't be doing that. Don't copy me. But my habit was to use Scratch Stealer and then spacebar back in. You don't need to do extraneous things like that. Probably the safest thing for me to do is walk right up to it and then use Quadra Accelerate and Call of Destiny and then do damage to it. And then hug the orb. You hug the orb so that you get the effect, okay? That circle that you just saw there, let's see if we can grab it again. That circle, that's the thing that you need to stay inside, okay? That's what's actually going to give you your buff. Okay. The last thing that I want to mention about this, especially if you're down a person, don't underestimate how much health these orbs have. Just do enough damage that it clears the mechanic. It got to the point where I was using my Celestial Rain on it, and I think totally worth it. Just make sure the orb actually dies, okay? Because there are definitely times when it wasn't 3 DPS on the orb or something like that, and you don't actually kill the orb, okay? And just watch out for that. This is a counter move if she doesn't get interrupted by a mechanic, but she did. And now we just keep DPSing. It's about this looking for the insides or the outsides. This is we hover, watch for the black. Doesn't happen here. Doesn't happen here. There it is. Spacebar and you finish it. Watch for the teleports. The teleport. For this move, one other thing that I remembered. So one of the things that can happen is she does this move and then she does her spacebar prison. And if you're standing in an awkward place, you could get trapped in between these orbs. And then you'll actually soak these orbs that are passing through. And that means that you don't kill the appropriate elements, right? And that means you have to manually go and kill them yourself. So just note that that is a possibility. Our party tried to make sure that when she teleports to the middle and starts doing that mechanic, that we all just hugged her in the middle. So that if she did the spacebar trap, we wouldn't be in a space that blocks the orbs that are going in between. This is stand inside. Her movesets are simple. The most annoying thing is her teleports. stand inside. For the most part for this boss, you can mostly just hug this boss and then react to it if you can't hug the boss. Okay, the counter is coming up. I don't have my counter. I do now. There it is. We proceed as normal. Here is the next mechanic. This is the counter mechanic, okay? If you mess up a counter here, it's really bad. Because you don't get your refresh on your counter, it's really bad. The first thing that you should do in this mechanic is watch for the statues to stand up and face you. Stand up and face you, then the flash happens. When this flash happens, then you press your counter button, okay? So what I recommend you do is you basically watch. When the statue stands up and faces you, be ready. And then on the blue flash, you just counter. Okay? That's what I recommend. So you see, we normally rotated clockwise, but I saw that the bard was going to do it. So I was waiting around to play flex. Okay, I was waiting around to play flex. So our teammate missed this here. The other thing that I would recommend, if you're helping a teammate do the counter, don't try to rush it, okay? This blue flash happens, don't try to go for this one. Just wait for the next cycle. It's super important because if you miss your counter, it is really bad because you don't get the cooldown refresh. So just wait for the next blue flash, like I'm doing here. There's a blue flash, then you counter, then you're good. Then it's all good, okay? So just make sure that you're like going at a pace that you can be ready, see the blue flash, and then you counter. Don't miss your counter. It's really, really, really bad. So the last mechanic that's coming up is going to be rings. Now, rings is an interesting one. You definitely want to help your teammates with your rings once you're done with your area. My personal recommendation when rings happens is that you handle your area first, and then after that, you try to solve other people's rings, okay? The electric cloud, the sound really helps finding the electric cloud. I mean, we're gonna get to the rings at some point. The normal moveset of this fight is really not that challenging. It's just annoying because she moves a lot and teleports a lot. It's the biggest thing to remember. Stay close. Could teleport here. Or if she backsteps, she could teleport right here. There it is. Here's rings. Okay, so my spot here for rings was middle ring on the bottom, okay? So, blue. What's good against blue? Green. So we're killing green, okay? Now, what I want you to notice is we're going to kill the two greens that are closest to us. And then we also have greens up here, okay? But basically, after I kill these two greens, I'm going to start thinking about, okay, do I see any in my close area, like any here on red or any here on green that I need to kill? So for this one, I need to kill green. For this one, I need to kill red. And for this one, I need to kill blue, okay? We kill the green first, and we kill this green first. And then we look, okay, I need to kill this green here. That blue is done. And then after this point, once you're at this point in the mechanic, I recommend that you focus on staying in the middle here. Don't stand on the rings. Just make sure you're standing in a safe spot, okay? Just chill in a safe spot. See my teammate got hit there? Just chill in a safe spot. So, again, the order, let's watch that again, and I'm going to tell you the order of operations, okay? What happens is mechanic happens, identify your ring. I need to kill green. I need to kill green. And then stretch for maybe one or two more, and then focus on standing in the safe spot, okay? So here's what I'm thinking about. I kill this green, I kill this green, and there's a last green I can kill here, and then maybe I help kill the blue here. Oh, my teammate got it. Now I'm thinking about standing in a safe spot. Stand in a safe spot. There we go. And then that's the ring mechanic. So from here on out, it should be pretty simple. That is a tragedy right there. the freaking spacebar mechanic canceled my awakening. You could probably like guess that a spacebar mechanic is going to happen soon after, but that is sad. That is sad. Okay, should be a pretty simple fight from here on. Watch for the electric cloud. Is the middle. Now we stay out. You can go in here. So after that circle, but here's something to think about this. When she does the reverse gravity in this AoE, you can initially stay out. Now there's enough of a delay here that you can go in and get some melee moves before you walk out. For my Arcana specifically, it's very helpful to clear out things like Secret Garden, to clear out things like Scratch Stealer and Spiral Edge, because then when you're standing out, you can use Scratch Stealer and Call of Destiny to build up stacks again. Obviously, in this case, I didn't have a Ruin skill to use at the same time, but let's teleport. Let's teleport again. Open up and we try to hug, so I spacebar back in. And it should be easy sailing from here on out. Nothing too particular to note. Turn. Counter is coming. There it is. That's gate 3. Pretty good. Getting used to the spacebar, you might make a few mistakes when you're first doing it, but it should become pretty consistent after. Just make sure you're focusing on watching for the black explosion. Then for the counter stagger mechanic, just make sure you're waiting for the statues to turn around and to face you. You have to wait for the statues to turn around, face you, then blue flash counter, okay? So you should be really ready when the statues turn around and face you. Then you rotate clockwise into your next one. If you're flex or if you're done with yours and you need to help with somebody else's, don't rush. If you're trying to help with somebody else's, don't rush. Get to the positioning first and then make sure you're all ready and then wait for that blue flash. If you see a blue flash and you're not in position yet, don't rush your counter because missing your counter, super duper bad. Your cooldown doesn't refresh. I can't emphasize that enough. And then for the rings, just make sure you're killing the thing that's strong against the color that you're seeing. I want you guys to remember that. Always, you're killing the thing that's strong against the color that you're seeing. And that's gate 3. Cool. So soon, we'll be moving on to gate 4. Gate 4 is definitely the hardest gate in Kayangel. And there should be a lot to talk about there, so I hope you guys are looking forward to it, and I'll see you in that video.